What's up, everybody? This is Patrick from wpbuilderhelper, and in today's video, we're going to be talking Google and specifically Web Vitals and why I think it's absolute BS. And I think that the people who are selling it to you is BS and the whole entire thing. So let's talk about that today. And let me explain why I think that before all the web gurus come out and attack me. All right? So let's get started. All right, so let's explain what's going on and let me catch you up if you're someone who's maybe brand new to Google or you're not understanding what's happening. On the 20th of this month, Google is going to be releasing an update that is going to do some damage to the web community as a whole, especially affiliate marketers who are using maybe slower websites. You know, it's definitely going to hurt a lot of different industries, but we don't know to what extent the damage is going to be done. So let me explain what they're doing. What they're doing is, if you're not familiar with it, Google is defining the core vitals as one of the metrics now that they're going to start using to determine whether your website is basically worth a bump in the rankings. And we still do not yet know just how much of a bump that is. We don't know if it's going to make a difference between anything or anything else. You know, in most cases, good content is usually the number one indicator, although lately it seems like Google is going out of their way to take and try and turn other things into indicators, making people focus on something that just it matters, but it shouldn't matter. So we're going to be hit with largest content paint, first input delay, and cumulative layout shift. So if you're interested, you could take a look at this article, and it kind of goes over what's going on with that and why you need to take and be familiar with it. But just know that basically what they're saying in a nutshell is the longer your website loads, the worse off you're going to be. Now, here's why I think that this is bullshit to begin with, is because if you take a look at some of the biggest websites, such as Amazon and everyone else, you'll notice very quickly that they are authority sites, and no matter what they do, they're always going to rank number one for certain terms. It's BS. It's Google's way of trying to take and eliminate the competition by doing this and focusing more big game players up at the top and less smaller game players. And I've got some proof of this, so don't worry, I'm about to hit you up. So this is a website that I run. It's one of my affiliate websites, and I'm about to take you in. I'm about to show you some information, some very interesting information. So let's go into the dashboard. Let's take a look behind the scenes, and let me show you something that's very interesting. First off, the thing that you should notice is this is a Cadence website. Yes, Cadence, the website that everyone is touting as the fastest website known to man. With that said, it should be preface it here that this website is very fast. I haven't done a lot of optimizing to it, but if you take a look at the plugins, you'll quickly see that I do have some plugins to kind of help it. I do have some Swift performance. I've got Short Pixel. I've got a couple different things here just to kind of help it out and to make it work better. So it's got some optimizations in there. It's not a whole lot, and I admit it could be on a better host, but for the most part, this website should be much faster than I think what it is. So when we go in here, as a matter of fact, let me take this website and before we do this, let's jump into Google just so I can show you what kind of scores it gets. And you know, some people are going to come out of the woodwork and say, well, you just haven't optimized it enough, it should be better. But I've never been a big person for the scores. I look at the scores, I make sure that it's got a fast loading time and all of those things, and I've optimized the images. But for the most part, I'm not going to go and customize it. But I was okay with this. This kind of worried me a little bit, the fact that this is so terrible. But once again, this is a basic Cadence website. There's no custom stuff on here. So the whole purpose of putting this on here was to just show you. Now on desktop, it does fine, but on mobile, it's terrible. And this is what Google's going after, is this mobile speed score. So lower that this is, you might not rank as high. But I wanted to show you kind of why this is a little bit ridiculous. So here we're on my Google Search Console for this specific page, and we go down and you start looking and you go, huh, that's interesting. So the page speed experience, technically it's got a trending downward now, but it doesn't really have anything bad, and neither does the core vitals, which, by the way, these haven't been updated in a while. But the core vitals and the page speed doesn't have anything bad. So when we go in, we look at it, let's open up the reports. You can kind of see, huh, okay, so starting this date, you could see that there was a drop off. And somebody had mentioned this, and then you go to core vitals and it says 14 are failing. And you go in here, it says needs improvement, and it's for mobile. So not surprise, surprise. But the weird thing is, it's surprise, surprise, but this started on the 11th. So Google didn't even see this until the 11th, which just makes you laugh. I don't know if they kind of implement core vitals ahead of time, or if they've already done it, and that's just telling me, hey, like, I think this has been around for a while, because some of my other websites rank really poor. But when you go into this and you look at the trend, this is where it gets really, really hilarious. Somewhere in here, there is a trend, and let's see if I can go into page speed. Where is it? Is it mobile usability? No, valid, no. So here's the trend. So when we go in here and we look at the trend for this website, you can see it's mostly green, but then it goes up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. I'm sure a lot of that could be in relation to the server or just the number of people visiting the site at any given time. But it seems like just recently, all of a sudden, it started having this problem. It didn't have it before. You can see it was doing fine before. There was no issues. And now all of a sudden, it's having issues. So in a couple of days, it may go back to green. It may stay yellow. I'm not really sure. The point being that Google kind of goes out of its way to try and make the web a lot harder than what it really needs to be. I'm not saying that it's all bullshit, because I think you do need to follow Google's trends. I think it's stupid if you don't follow Google's trends. What I'm saying is sometimes you can do everything right. And even with doing everything right, and I'm sure that I've not done everything right with this website, you can still run into problems later, even when someone is touting that, the Cadence theme is the fastest website known to man. Everything is Gutenberg this and Gutenberg that. It's not necessarily the case. You can still make a very, very slow website that doesn't meet the requirements of Google. And this website, once again, is far from slow. It needs to be optimized some more just to get it to where it needs to be. But really, this is more of like a pet project. So this isn't very much one of those things where I'm trying to show off anything or anything like that. But my point being is that you can get these same scores with page builders, specifically the Oxygen page builders, which I've been playing with. As you can see, I'm working on another video coming out shortly where we're going to go through an Oxygen video. We're going to customize it and do everything that we need to do. And then we're going to go in and we're going to see where it ranks, and we're just going to see how high it ranks. So the point of this whole entire video is just don't fall for these trends. Don't fall for the gurus who are coming out and telling you to do this and do that. Just because you have something that they have, or you have a page builder. I'm not saying that a page builder won't add to the speed or the delay of your website. A very bloated page builder can take and do some damage to your website. But if you know how to go in and optimize it, that optimization is really where the key comes in. And when you know how to go in and optimize something, you can optimize it to the point where it no longer hurts you. That being said, you're still going to have some sluggishness with some page builders, but don't think that Cadence is everything. Well, I shouldn't even say Cadence, because that's not fair. Cadence does a really good job of making their speeds very, very good. But just don't think that Gutenberg is the end all be all and that page builders are going away anytime soon. As a matter of fact, if anything, page builders are going to get better, and I could see them very, very shortly after this comes out and people start comparing like real data, like stuff like how slow a website is to, whatever, how fast it was before, or anything like that, and seeing the difference in the rankings. Once people start knowing real data of what it actually means to Google to have this out, then you're going to start seeing changes in the page builders, and then things are going to get really, really interesting, because page builders are going to start competing with Gutenberg, and a lot of them already are. Oxygen, Bricks, Live Canvas, a bunch of them, Zion Builder, they're all competing already. They're already there. They already know that they need to be much faster, and they've already kind of started on that path. And so I think we're going to see Elementor and Divi get really, really heavy in it. And if they start eliminating some of the stuff and they start getting way faster than what they need to be, I think it's a win-win for the whole entire web community, because you're going to have an experience that's a better experience for the end user to begin with. And personally, if I'm choosing between building with Gutenberg today and actually building with a page builder, I'm going to choose a page builder over Gutenberg. That's my personal impression, just because I do not like the mobile aspect of building with Gutenberg. I've said that before. I think it's garbage. I think that it's funny that WordPress is focusing on accessibility and trying to make everything great, the whole experience great, and then you go in and you look at something like their mobile stuff, which if we go on the back end and we just pick a page, you'll see what I'm talking about very quickly. But if you take and you go to one of their pages and you do an edit and you start looking at what they have and what's going on with it, you quickly notice very, very quick that their mobile experience is just absolute garbage. And that's what I'm talking about trying to fix. Their mobile experience just is not good. This does not work for anyone. And they need to improve it. They need to do something about it first and foremost, but they just really need to improve it. It's a bad mobile experience. It doesn't work well. And to be quite honest with you, I think even with the number of people who have been complaining about something like Oxygen, where they'll say that Oxygen is a bad mobile experience, I think that it's actually fine. I don't think that there's anything wrong with it, with the way that it works. It works very well, and I'm pretty happy with it for the most part. I think Oxygen's done a good job. I think a lot of them have done a good job with taking and making themselves better, when it comes to mobile design. And I think that that's really what's missing is literally that. That's what's missing for me, is this lack of the fact that they're even considering mobile. Google's working hard to take and hit mobile, and yet when you take and you look at everything that's going on, you're like, okay, I'm just not seeing where we're even seeing the mobile experience. And to me, that's where you just suffer. You need a better mobile experience. And so that's my take. I don't recommend that you just take and go dump anything, but I just wanted to say, don't believe all the hype that's out there. Please, please, please don't believe all the hype. These people who are, I'm a part of a lot of groups, and these people who are speed masters of taking and going in here and getting everything micromanaged to where they're tweaking every little part of your theme and everything to get it as fast as possible so that it ranks as high as possible. They know what to do, and they could go into a Divi site and they can make it done. They can go into an Elementor site. A lot of times it requires a lot more work to take and do that type of thing, but they can still do it. And so for me, the whole process and the whole takeaway is, don't buy the hype. Right now, it's a gold rush, and the people who are selling you the shovels are the ones who are making all the money. So hopefully you understand what that means. If you don't, go look it up and you'll understand it later. But I would recommend that you just stay the course, do what you need to do, and I think you're going to be fine at the end of the day. Let's wait and see what happens after this new update comes out, and let's see where we stand. All right, hope you guys have enjoyed this content. I've got some more Oxygen content coming at you a little bit later, and I will see you guys next time.